Hello, it's Thursday, it's 10 o'clock, I'm Chloe Tilley. Today we reveal that thousands of women are posting allegations about abusive behaviour in a series of Facebook pages known as Prick Advisor. The main group has more than 100,000 members.
It's like a little army of women looking out for each other all across the country. Some other woman out there that could be at risk could be warned.
Well, they say they want to protect others, but experts say they risk their own safety and that the sites are encouraging false allegations. Now, in Facebook groups across the country, thousands of women are naming and shaming the men they say have abused them. The pages are called Prick Advisor. The intention was that they would be a force for good, a social media group where women can warn other women about all sorts of negative behaviour by men, from cheating through to violence, rape and even child abuse. Well, women can share the men's names, pictures and location with the group. Women's Aid tells us the government needs to learn lessons and listen to the women in this group ahead of their new domestic violence bill. But there has also been a backlash, with some men saying they have been falsely accused and fears that privacy and libel laws are being breached. Amber Hack has been to find out more.
I've been pushed and dragged around and thrown on the floor.
She was 3-year-old when she just came up to me and said, "Mummy, Daddy hurt me."
We feel like women are being failed by the system.
The women across Britain taking their alleged abuse into their own hands.
It's like a little army of women looking out for each other all across the country.
Posting in a Facebook group where women name and shame the partners they claim have abused them.
Some other woman out there that could be at risk could be warned.
But in the murky world of social media, when does naming and shaming go wrong?
There was pictures of me. She was calling me controlling, she was calling me abusive to her. It's like a public hanging of men.
So I've been following the Prick Advisor pages for a few months now. The main national page has got 100,000 members, and then there's loads of smaller regional pages that have anything between a few hundred to 40,000 women in there. Now, most of the women say that it's a force for good, but I want to know if the groups are a symptom of women that have been let down by local authorities that have been cut, or is it a sign of where we're at with social media? And on this quiet cul-de-sac in Bradford, we've come to meet Sam Wright as she's sifting through posts from 8,000 women across West Yorkshire. She's a regional administrator of one of many Prick Advisor groups across the country.
Women come to us as to post up about a guy that they may be potentially dating, to somebody that they think may have had a violent past, to somebody that they are concerned that they're still sort of dating somebody else, or that beating me up, or he passed me on a sexually transmitted disease. It could be anything.
Women in the group say they want to warn others because of the hurt and abuse they faced at the hands of violent men. Women like Claire, who experienced an incident of abuse at the hands of a partner.
During the relationship, being pushed and dragged around and thrown on the floor. I was quite isolated, felt like unhappy and sad most days.
Claire's partner was charged with battery. She eventually left the relationship and moved away to protect her children. Her partner now has no contact with his family.
I've had depression, I've had days where I don't open the curtains or want to go out of the house. Any counselling or anything that I've had, any therapies I've had to seek myself. I've had to really go and shout about it.
Because there wouldn't be that many members in these groups if the women weren't feeling like they needed that support.
Statistics show that an estimated 1.3 million women experienced some form of domestic abuse last year. Only 18% of the women who were abused by their partners in that year reported the abuse to the police.
Police forces already have something in place for a woman to access information that might protect her from abuse. It's called Clare's Law, but that information is only accessible when a man has had a conviction for domestic violence.
I don't think that it's publicised enough, whereas with the group you've got something that's straight there to hand where you can just type in somebody's name and just see straight away if they're on there.
Clearly in the comments there's quite a few people that know him.
Yeah.
Used to work with him. How do you actually make sure the allegations that women are posting about men are true? Because obviously if they're not true, it's really got the potential to ruin someone's life and their reputation.
It's a lot of responsibility on us to sort of look at both sides and think, right, well, who's telling the truth? Sometimes it's just easier just to take the post down.
Because obviously without police involvement it is just one person's word against another.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever worry about getting caught in between a situation where maybe a man is being accused of something that isn't true in it?
So I've had threats, like, I'm going to come to your house, you've had it. We've had a lot of snitching where they will screenshot, and you can guarantee within, sometimes I'd say less than 5 minutes of a post going up, it can be fed back to the person that it's been posted about.
It's like 100,000 followers on there, and my name, my picture.
From is an absolutely narcissistic, vile human being.
And when the posts do get screenshotted and leaked, what happens if it isn't true? What happens to the men who become falsely accused?
There it was in black and white. She plastered it all over Facebook. She was calling me a bastard. She was calling me controlling. She was calling me abusive to her. I mean, it's something that I can't prove, because how can I go on there and prove my innocence? You know, I live in quite a small town. It had that effect on my business. People stopped coming to me for things. Could you imagine if it was men talking about women, talking about their bodies, talking about their sex life?
I mean, a lot of people would just say this is your word against hers.
In my case, it's just a crazy ex that's gone on there that wants to call me all the names under the sun and ruin my reputation. And it's worked. It's happened.
Of all the stories we've seen shared on the Prick Advisor page, probably one of the most shocking is that of Marie's. There's not a real name, we're going to protect her identity, but I first saw her story shared by one of her friends. She posted the name, the location, and a picture of one of Marie's ex-partners that she said sexually abused Marie's daughter at 3 years old.
Marie says her daughter started having night terrors, stopped talking, and became incontinent in the months following her meeting her ex-partner.
She was 3 years old when she just came up to me and said, "Mummy, Daddy hurt my bum." I said, "Was he cleaning you?" And she said, "No, Daddy hurt my bum with his front bum." As soon as she said it, I knew all the signs that I'd missed came flying back into my head. To have my daughter, my own child, tell me something like that at the age of 3, it just made me crumble.
Marie reported it to the police, and even though there was physical evidence of penetration, the CPS didn't feel that the case was strong enough to take it to trial.
So your ex-partner's name, his picture, where he was from, as well as the accusations of him abusing your 3-year-old daughter, were put into the group. Do you think you realise the legal implications of that information being put in what is essentially a public group?
Yeah. I'm not bothered about his identity being shown. I'm not bothered about danger that goes to him. People need to know what he is.
And for the future, if your daughter does want to maybe one day take it to trial, Would you feel worried about any of that information having gone out there already?
No. They can't turn around and say, well, no, someone your mum knows decides to post about it in Prick Advisor, so we can't charge him for it.
The page that Marie posted on was later suspended by Facebook, and her post is no longer up on the site. A similar suspension happened to Sam's regional page, but she says it wasn't clear what content violated Facebook's rules.
We literally got the group handed back to us. There was nothing saying why it had been removed in the first place, other than the fact that we'd broken community standards.
And how would you feel off the back of this piece if Facebook did try to take it down?
It's really difficult because obviously it's like going back to square one again and building it up with the members. I think I would definitely open up another one, because otherwise it's sort of like being bullied by Facebook, you know, into not giving these women a chance to open up and speak out.
In a statement, Facebook told us,
"We have strict rules on what is and isn't allowed on Facebook, and don't tolerate harassment and bullying that targets or names and shames people. However, for criminal allegations such as sexual harassment or assault, we recognise that it's important that people have the ability to raise awareness. Therefore, in these instances, depending on the context, we will leave these comments up."